Please stand to be sworn. Do you affirm the testimony you're about to give before the committee will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you for that positive response. Please go ahead and give your opening statement.
Kristi Noem, you should be ashamed of yourself. I'm a former female.
Okay. Well.
Employees seeking responding to disasters, not ICE people. You should be ashamed of yourself. Your staff say abolish ICE. Your staff say abolish ICE. Your staff say abolish ICE.
You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to the ranking member, Senator Durbin, as well, and the distinguished members of this committee. I appreciate the opportunity to be with all of you today and talk about the important matters and work that the Department of Homeland Security does every single day. The Department of Homeland Security.
Hey, could maybe pull the microphone closer to you, please?
Okay.
And the red light is on?
Yep, it is.
Okay, proceed.
The Department of Homeland Security was established in the aftermath of 9/11, one of the darkest days in our nation's history. That resulted in the death of nearly 3,000 Americans. The mission of the Department of Homeland Security at that time was just as critical as it is today. We protect our American people, we prevent acts of terrorism, and we defend our homeland. Every action that the Department of Homeland Security takes is guided by that mission and by that responsibility. Thanks to President Trump's leadership and the hard work of the men and women of DHS, our department has delivered historic results and has made our communities safer. Since the start of President Trump's second term, daily encounters along the southwest border declined by 96% compared to the Biden administration's daily average. We've reached the lowest levels ever recorded in U.S. Customs and Border Protection's history. In President Trump's first year, total Border Patrol apprehensions along the southwest border were less than the average of a single month under the Biden administration. For 10 straight months, the Border Patrol has released 0 illegal aliens into the interior of the United States. And in President Trump's historic first year back in office, nearly 3 million illegal aliens have left the United States as a result of the administration's enforcement efforts from following the law. That includes 2.2 million that have voluntarily left and returned back to their home countries, and more than 675,000 detainments and deportations. A majority of the aliens that were arrested by Immigration and Customs Enforcement have a criminal record and have been charged with or convicted of secondary crimes in addition to their initial crime of being in the United States illegally. During this period, ICE has arrested over 1,500 known and suspected terrorists, more than 7,700 known gang members, many of them that were allowed to come into this country under the Biden administration. We have also reached the lowest murder rate in the last 125 years since that data was tracked. Under President Biden, more than 450,000 unaccompanied alien children went missing or were lost due to the dangerous open border policies that were embraced. Under President Trump, the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Health and Human Services have already located over 145,000 of these children and returned them back to their families and back to people who care about them. And we will not stop until every single one of those children is found. Fentanyl trafficking at the southern border is down. It's been cut by over 56% because of that secure border and the enforcement actions that have been taken there. And that's compared to the same period of time in 2024. The Coast Guard has seized enough cocaine the past year to prevent quantities capable of killing more than 193 million Americans, and it's kept them off of our streets. In fact, total interdiction efforts under the Trump administration have prevented 1.7 billion lethal doses of drugs from killing our next generation of Americans. These results reflect the fact that we are enforcing the laws that Congress has passed. I want to address the dangerous environment that our ICE officers face on the streets today. They are facing a serious and escalating threat as a result of deliberate mischaracterizations of their heroic work and rhetoric that demonizes our law enforcement. DHS has documented an 8,000% increase in death threats against our ICE officers and their families, as well as more than 1,300% increase in assaults while carrying out the lawful enforcement operations that they do every single day. I recognize that members of this committee may hold differing views about immigration policy, but it's important that we distinguish between disagreements over policy and the department's operational responsibility to enforce existing law that has been passed by Congress. It's our duty as a department to defend our homeland. The latest Democrat-led shutdown of DHS is reckless, it's unnecessary, and it undermines the American national security, and it harms the men and women who work at DHS and their families. Despite the House passing a bipartisan, bicameral full-year DHS funding bill, it is Senate Democrats who've chosen not to fund the department and have held this department hostage. As a result, critical national security missions, including border security, immigration enforcement, aviation security, disaster response, cybersecurity, and the protection of critical infrastructure are all being strained. Our ability to provide for a safe and successful World Cup is being hindered as well. More than 100,000 dedicated DHS employees are once again being asked to work without pay for the third time in just 5 months. At a time when we've produced the most secure border in history and removed nearly 3 million illegal aliens from our country, disrupting the department responsible for those gains is indefensible. I want to thank the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security for their professionalism, for their dedication, for their commitment to keeping America safe and continuing to show up and work even though they aren't being compensated for it. They've kept us safe and they have patience, and our success is only possible because of their service and sacrifices. I also want to thank our angel families that are behind us to tell their stories and testimonies, and also thank my husband for being here in support as well. Thank you for the opportunity to testify, Mr. Chairman, and to all the distinguished members. I look forward to your questions today. With that, I yield back.
Subscribe to Oneindia and never miss an update. Download the Oneindia app now.